Usually, when a YouTuber we don't like gets kicked off the platform, everyone celebrates. But what about that very, very niche case that usually doesn't happen when the same thing happens to a YouTuber that everyone actually likes? Some people will cry, some people will binge watch the entirety of the Shrek franchise just to cope, and that leads us to the YouTuber I'm talking about today, which is Robert Ellis. Now that name, Robert Ellis, probably doesn't ring a bell. He's not exactly a huge YouTuber, but he's been around on the platform for many, many years. His earliest videos actually going back to nearly 10 years ago. Now, Robert calls himself the armed vapor because if you couldn't tell by his YouTube profile picture, he likes to vape. That is pretty much his entire gimmick. Personally, I kind of think he blew up because it's so weird seeing someone that's like in their 70s vaping and then reviewing vapes, because usually vapes are reserved for people that want to quit smoking. Only joking, it's not. It's reserved for 13-year-olds. But the reason why he went viral is because 6 years ago, he uploaded a video called Juul by Pax and My Thoughts, where he basically tries a bunch of vapes and reviews them. But the reason why this went viral is because one of the last vapes that he takes a puff of, it basically nearly sent him to heaven.
This is the fruity one they have. Whoa. 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 Wow.
So he basically got one tapped by a vape and nearly choked to death because of it. And that is pretty much where the meme was born. But apart from uploading and reviewing vapes, Robert would talk about his life, but more importantly, he does actually live stream to a couple hundred viewers on YouTube. But recently, he's actually uploaded a video called I Am Done, You Have Won, where he says he's quitting live streaming because basically he can't stand all the trolls that are calling his landline and harassing his family. Even telling people at one point to just straight up cancel their membership. By the way, if you don't know what memberships are on YouTube, it's kind of like the sub button on Twitch. On Twitch, you can subscribe to someone, you get a bunch of emotes and stuff, and you usually pay like $5 a month. It's pretty much the same on YouTube, but instead of it being called a sub button, it's called a membership or like a join button. It is a little bit confusing, but basically you pay to get it.
Yep, cancel your memberships. I'm done. I'm not streaming. I'm not putting up with this crap. The straw that broke the camel's back with the idiots with the phone calls. I don't need my wife being aggravated. I don't need Cookie picking up on a phone call like that and getting harassed and shit. I don't need that crap. So until now, from now until the foreseeable future, streaming's done. Cancel all the memberships. Please. You have won. And I don't care. I'm retired. I don't need your bullshit.
One thing I love about this video is even though Robert is being 100% serious and he is genuinely mad, he's still taking tokes on his vape. But yeah, it sucks because the guy's 70, he's retired, and he's losing yet another revenue stream. Now, I did actually manage to find the final stream that he made before he actually, stopped live streaming altogether. And you can tell that he's getting prank calls and he's finding it very irritating.
Putting around, looking at shit, being careful. What the fuck is this? And this is on do not fuck. Oh, yeah, right. Let's just stop this. Yeah, putting around down there, and then the 2 hours or so that it takes to get back to the surface.
When did your scam fall?
What?
When did your scam fall? Came from your telephone number.
Yeah, I know. I just took care of it. It's not. Never mind. I won't. I'm not even going to bother explaining it.
No.
What? Got scam phone calls going on again.
After which he shortly ended the stream. Now, obviously, I do want to put it out there, Robert is not a unique case. There are hundreds, probably thousands of YouTubers, e-celebs, people that post on social media, and they get prank calls. Or even in worse cases, they'll pull up to the house, they'll knock on the door, even swatting. Unfortunately, swatting, for example, is a really common thing. But I don't know if you can agree, for it happening to a guy in his 70s that's basically done nothing wrong, it doesn't feel right. Now, a couple of days ago, he made another follow-up video, not a live stream, called This Is What Happened, where he basically went into detail about why he had to pull his channel memberships and you basically can't give him money anymore. And of course, in typical Robert Ellis fashion, for as little as we've known him throughout this video, he does the entire video in one take, biking down a lane with his dog sat in the backseat.
So what's the story? Here's the story. Prank calls. Now, don't get me wrong. Anybody who's been watching my live stuff, occasionally, people call my phone. I can deal with that. It's not a problem. I either don't answer it or I take the call. But most of them, and if you've been around to hear one of them, live during a stream, they're just younger idiots that just want to, interrupt the live stream. They want their how many minutes of fame. They're all incoherent idiots. They don't have valid questions, nothing to ask or hold a conversation. It's just, I did it. I was able to call the arm paper, and guess what? That kind of fucking nonsense. Okay, not really a problem. The only person it affects is myself or the people watching the stream.
Now, the thing is, Robert is actually willing to compromise here. He basically says he gets prank calls, he gets people call his landline, and he doesn't really mind. It's kind of like part and parcel of being an influencer. But then obviously he goes on to say how recently the trolls have gotten much, much worse, making him pull the entire project.
My iPhone would start ringing and display like I'm making a call, and my home landline would be ringing. And this just kept going on. It's like driving my wife crazy. Cookie picked up one of them, was harassing her. I don't know if it was a pre-scripted, pre-recorded call. I don't know. I didn't take the call. It was pissing my wife off to no end. And quite frankly, pissing me off too. If it's something, prank call just coming to my phone. Okay. Let's all listen to this nonsense, because that's all it is. But it was more than that. It was spoofing my phone and dialing up my home phone, my landline. That's crazy.
So as you can see, what they're basically doing is spoofing his phone number. They've got his phone number and they're using it to call his house, pretending it's him. He doesn't really go into too much detail, but they might even actually have like voice recordings of him. Like for example, with AI generated voices, how easy it is to spoof people. I actually did a video, I think around a couple months ago, where I talked about a situation where a woman in America had a phone call from her daughter saying that, she's being held hostage and she needs like $1 million or she'll never be seen again. But that wasn't real. It was an AI voice that someone generated using speech from the actual girl.
You know how many things are tied to your phone number these days? Hello? What a hassle it is to change your phone number, of all the crap that offhand that you gotta go in. I gotta go to this site, change my number, gotta go to that site, change my number, get a hold of this service, change my number.
Obviously, I'm not a security expert, but as we all know, you always should have two-factor authentication for everything. Either get one of those USB keys or the Google Authenticator app. A phone number as a form of protection is completely useless in current year. I even remember like 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, H3H3 got hacked. He had his phone number spoofed and leaked. They called up his call center and they basically just pretended to be him, gave no information, but the guy on the other end of the phone was so fucking lazy that they just handed over all of his information. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that because Robert Ellis, he's not someone that I watch, I'll be honest, but his video of him saying, like, I'm stopping now, you've won, that video actually came into my recommended for some reason, and it's done really well for him, so I kind of just wanted to give it a watch, talk about it, because it sucks. It's a very common situation, but for it to happen to someone like that has basically done nothing wrong ever. The guy just sits at home and vapes all day. How can you hate that?